going to review this pen. This is a bright green, kiwi green, entry-level fountain pen made by the company Brunnen. Brunnen is, I believe, a German stationery company, and this is a fountain pen produced by them. I was in Montreal the other day, and I was in a paper supply store, and it was $15, and I thought, interesting, why not give it a go? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the parts of the pen. I'm going to give the pen some ratings out of 5. I'm going to rate the design, the comfort, and the writing experience. And then I'm going to do a writing sample, and then we'll be done. So these are the parts of the pen. The pen is kiwi green, I believe is how they call the color. And you can see why. It's a bright kiwi green. Start with the cap. Cap is a very simple, straight cylinder, no real tapering. The top is rounded a bit. It says in very slightly raised letters, made in Germany. Here it says in silver paint, Brunnen, the little design. Imagine that will probably wear off in time if you use it. Clip has kind of a silvery color, but it's just a piece of plastic, and I can see that breaking very easily, especially clipping into your pocket or anything. I think that'd be gone really quick. Barrel, straight cylinder. Rounded end, slight line here, you can probably just make it on the video. Makes it look like this is 2 pieces, which means this could not be converted into an eyedropper. I haven't tried it, and I'm probably not going to, because I'm not so blown away with this pen that I want to write with it that much. Section is kind of interesting because it's got a thin rubber coating on it, so it has grip. It's definitely not slippery. Fits okay in my hand, unposted. You can post this cap, and it has no weight to it because it's just plastic, so it doesn't feel unbalanced at all. Section goes in, comes out a bit. This came with a short international cartridge and a empty one with the end chopped off to fill space. So you could carry 2 short international cartridges in here, one plugged in, one is a spare. I don't like cartridges, so I got a Faber-Castell international standard size converter that just fits inside this barrel. It looks like there's a little room, but there's actually inside there's some stuff that fills the end, probably to, I think it's to hold the cartridges from rattling around in there. Onto the nib. This nib looks like it's just friction fit in there. It looks like you could probably pull it out and replace it if you wanted to. Haven't tried yet, but that's the impression that I get. It is just a simple steel nib. Right now it's covered in ink, but it says iridium point. It's not the worst nib I've ever had. It's actually reasonably smooth. Was a bit dry, but I made it a little bit wetter just by pushing the tines on my thumbnail a little bit to spread them a bit. But yeah, not the worst pen I've ever used for writing, but not the best. Cap clips on, and those are the parts of the pen. Okay, so those are the parts of the pen. On to the ratings. For design, I rate this pen a 3. What can I say? It is a very affordable pen, but cheaply made. You can tell just by feeling it. It doesn't feel very expensive. That plastic clip, gonna break. Nothing about this gives me confidence that it'll last forever, and while the color is interesting, the pen really isn't that interesting to look at for design wise. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing special. So design gets a 3. For comfort, I gave it a 3.5. Nothing wrong with it. A little bit small for writing. It's actually just fits in my hand like that. So I would post this pen if I was writing for a long time. Because this is plastic, there's nothing to it. The pen doesn't get top heavy at all, so that's nice. The rubber section is interesting. I don't hate it, but it's okay. It's a little thin, little tiny nib. Coming to the nib gives me the writing experience, and I give it a 3. It would easily have gone a 3.5 just for the fact that it's actually quite smooth and decent to write with, but the flow issues were in, actually not really bad flow issues. It's just where it doesn't start right away. It brings it down to just a 3. So all in all, it's an average pen. It is not expensive, and if you were going to get someone to start using fountain pens, this would be a decent place to start, because it's affordable and it's nice enough that they wouldn't just hate the experience of using it. You can put a cartridge converter in there so you can introduce them to the different colored inks, and then when they finally decide to spend a little bit more money getting, like, say, a Lamy Safari or a TWSBI 580 or something, they will just have their mind blown by how nice those are compared to this. This isn't bad, but obviously it doesn't compare to those other pens. Alright, so we'll do some measurements. Capped is 135 millimeters. Uncapped is 123. Posted is 155 millimeters. And the weight is 13 grams. Writing samples next, and then we're done. Okay, now for writing sample. This is the Brunnen Colourcode kiwi colored. It's got a medium nib, and the ink is Sailor Yama Dory, which I actually like this ink a lot. It belongs to my wife. I stole a load when I bought this pen because I got this pen when I was in Montreal. So let's do some writing. Conan, what is best in life? To which Conan replied, crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the hands of woman. And kiwis. I guess I could do that in an Arnold voice, but voices are not really my thing. Now, you may have noticed a couple times that there were some hard starts in there. I find that happens fairly often with this pen. I just need to push a little harder when I start. This is rhodia paper, which is really quite slick and smooth, so there's often these kind of issues with many pens, but I found this with many different papers with this pen, so I think it's an issue of the pen. It was really dry when I first got it. I made it a little bit wetter when I found that, but even so, it's having hard starts. But it is really smooth. You might hear some noise when I write. That is just the camera picking up the noise on the paper. It is not giving really any feedback at all. It's not scratchy. It's quite nice. Let's try some fast writing. Crush your enemies. And I think that the feed is keeping up pretty nicely there, actually. So there's that. Alright. Line variation, there's actually a little bit in here. So here's none. A little more, a little more, a little more. Max. A little more, a little more. Less. So, as you can see, you can squeeze a little bit out. It's not designed for this, but it's actually surprising for an inexpensive pen like this. Reverse writing. It actually does pretty well with it, and it doesn't seem like it's about to dry out. It's definitely very thin, and also definitely very scratchy, but you can do it if you really like to. Now, what about doodling? Well, since I did a Conan quote, maybe I should draw Conan. So, while this pen might not be my absolute favorite pen that I've ever owned, it is, as you can see, obviously a decent enough writer, especially for the price I paid. Like I said, it was around $15. And it's nice to sometimes gamble on a pen like this, because it gives you something new to try out without breaking the bank. And if you're not that impressed, you haven't really lost anything. So, you have to draw a sword. So there you have it. The Brunnen Colourcode pen in kiwi green, a relatively cheap experiment pen, which I don't hate. So, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you like watching these videos. I'll be putting up plenty more in the time to come. Reviews, drawing videos, stuff like that. But until then, goodbye.